Shalom, everybody. This is Dave from Universal Truth of Mankind. I am your host, and this is Meditation 201. Now, I went back to the original chart without the art. I do speak to that in previous videos, so please go down to the description, take a look at the playlists for Meditation 201, start from the very first one, and move forward. Now, please subscribe to YouTube and Rumble. I'm on both. So if one platform goes down, I'm on the other. Or if one platform decides to remove me, I'm still on the other. Also, like and share these videos. They're all free. I'm not trying to create an audience, a congregation. I'm not asking for money. I'm simply sharing what I've learned in my 30 plus years. And like I said in the past, I've been at this for over 30 years. But the reality is, when I was 7 years old, I was already contemplating the idea that there's something above the reality we're in, something above the spiritual. In other words, who is this creator that creates everything? Not just creation, but spirituality is also part of creation. Metaphysical is part of creation. Energetics is part of creation. And so I understood that there was something way up there way back then. Now, of course, I didn't have the materials to do this, but this is a culmination of 50 plus years of effort, particularly the last 30. So you're very familiar with this. We're going to view this from, again, a different perspective, as I've been doing this whole time to help us understand about self, not the me, myself, and I, the egotistical self, but the self in terms of who am I really? Who am I? I'm a reflection of the Creator. There is a eternal perfected self in the higher soul that just has not come down yet to this level. And this is something we need to work on. This is the task we've been given. And so we're going to, again, look at this at a different level. Again, we're going back to Genesis 1:1, but I'm looking at from the Sephirotic tree. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the center column. We are going to view each one of these Sephirotes and show that they are represented in the first verse of Genesis, Genesis 1:1. So here's Genesis 1:1. Now, just a quick note. If you take a look at Bereshit, I divided here Beri and Sheet. So you can kind of ignore that. That was I had that in there. This is a slide from another lesson. I didn't alter it. I kept it as is. The first bara is referring to Keter, the very first Sephirot. That Sephirot is right here. Keter. This is where the thought of creation takes place. Like any idea we have, because we're a reflection of the Creator, we have a thought. As such, we could say we have a Keter, where our thought takes place. Now we go, remember I said bara, but it's really Bereshit. So the second word is really bara. And bara is referencing Chokmah. Chokmah. Now you might be saying to yourself, wait a minute, but you said you're going down the middle column. Why is Chokmah not in the middle? Remember what I told you? Back in old drawings of this, these three are so close together that in reality they're really one. If they're really one, then they're center column. They are in a center column. It's just because of this illustration and modern illustrations, they separate these and make it look like they are three separate entities, but they are not. These should be viewed as steps, and I will show you that in a moment. Then we go to Elohim. It's the third word. Elohim is represented by Binah. So we have the thought, wisdom, and understanding. The thought, the designer, the blueprinter, and then we have the fabricator, the facilitator of creation, which is, in this case, Elohim. So here too, Binah, here it is, understanding, fabricator of creation, is on the left, but it's not in the center. So in reality, these can be viewed as steps. I will again, like I said before, I will get to that in a moment with another illustration that will further show this. So now from this point on, this is the left, this is the right, this is the center. So we're going to be talking about these three now. Are they presented in verse 1? Yes, they are. We go to the heavens. Now, the Aleph Tav is there. I explained that in the previous video. That's the first and last of the Aleph Beit. So we have discussed this. Now we're talking about Hashemayim. Hashemayim is something called Zer Anpin. You don't necessarily need to know what Zer Anpin is, but Zer Anpin is, you could say, a perfect man. Here we go. Zer Anpin, the perfect man. What is the perfect man? It's these six sephirots in what? Balance, harmony, which creates a beauty. So you become a beautiful person when all of these are like this. This is what we're trying to emulate. This is what we're trying to become. Like these six in this balance. So this is Zer Anpin. This is a perfect man. So let me throw this out. And I try to be truthful. You know that. I try to be authentic. You don't have to agree with me. But I've seen people say, oh, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Well, we already addressed these. They're not referring to a man. But this is referring to a perfect man. Now, what kind of a man are we talking about being perfect? Physically perfect? No. We're talking about a man that is what I call intelligent energies or balanced intelligent energies, emulating the intelligent energies that the Creator has made. That's what we're looking at here. So let's go back to verse Genesis 1:1. But we're going to Haaretz. Haaretz is Malkut. And this is Malkut. This is the day of rest. And I've explained that what that means in other videos. So that's why I say, please watch all the previous videos up to this point. This is video, I think, 19. Watch all the previous videos. They all build on each other. They all look at this tree as a key to understanding who self is, who we really are, and how we interact, how we related, our relationships with the Creator, with us, and us with the Creator, and the Creator with your neighbor, and you with your neighbor. All these relationships are bound up in this illustration, this Sephirotic tree, sometimes called the tree of life. And you will see that being built up in previous videos. So please go down the description and go to the playlist for Meditation 201. Start with video 1. So like I said, these are represented. Bereshit Keter, Chakma Bara, Elohim Binah, Hashemayim, the heavens, the waters, Zer Anpin. Why? Because it's fluid, and water gives life. It's fluid and it gives life. That's what we're talking about here. And then we have Malkut, as expressed, the day of rest, or the land, or where this could be also called the land, this could also call this the realm of action, which is Asiya, which is what Asiya means, action. This is where we put all this into action. Too many of us are trying to change all of this, thinking that that's going to change all of this. No, 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 no. We have to work down, not up. If we work down, then we create a flow that will go back up and then back down and then back up and back down. And we create a torus. So now let's take a look at another illustration of this. This is a better visual, I think. So we see Keter, the thought of creation. And like I said, the first three are so closely unified and tight that they really are on a center column, not necessarily on the left or the right. And that's why they are portrayed here in this manner. This is the thought of creation. This is step one of creation. You have an idea. That idea now, you have to create a plan now. You want to create a plan. You want to make sure you understand what this looks like. You've looked at it all from different angles to make sure that you have not missed any details. And that goes to Chachma, wisdom, which is the design of creation, the blueprint of creation. This is where Torah is created. This is Torah. So when I hear somebody say to me, oh, the Torah's been done away with, you mean you did away with Chachma? You did away with the design of creation? What are you, insane? Can't happen. And then the next step is, well, okay, we got the thought. The blueprint reflects the thought. Now we have to create Elohim. I said that in a previous video, video 17. Please go to that one. And we create Elohim. Elohim, by the way, could mean forces. It's translated as God, but it can mean forces. So forces, tools were created, 7 tools, 6 tools, however you want to look at it, were 6 tools were created. 7 tools were created. And they are Elohim, so like fingers, were created. And becomes the fabricator, the facilitator of creation according to the blueprint, which is according to the thought of creation. So these 3 are in the middle. So these 3 are one. And they're in the center column. There are 3 steps. Step 1, step 2, and step 3. I hope that makes sense. Now we go to Zeir Anpin, the perfect man. Now when I say man, I'm talking about self at a higher level. This is the bouncing point of the 6. So the only one left, not Yesud, because Yesud, I know it's in the center column, but it's still part of Zeir Anpin. So what's the 5th? The 5th is Malchut. This is the realm of action, as I was just talking about. This is where we attempt to become this so that we can follow the thought, follow the design, the blueprint, the Torah, follow or emulate. I should use the word emulate for these 3. Emulate the fabricator, the facilitator, the forces within myself, itself, in perfect balance to create a better world, better realm of action, which we're in. This is where the body and the 5 senses are. A lot to think about there. But let me give you another illustration for Zeir Anpin. Here's Zeir Anpin split into its 6 pieces. Here are the 5 that I just mentioned on a center column. I take Zeir Anpin, I split into 6. I take these and I just move them slightly to the right and to the left. And we come up with our tree of life. Take a good look at this. Really Focus on this. And this is how we come up with this image, this illustration, this tree of life. And this is how we fit into that tree of life. I hope this helps everybody. Questions, please feel free to post them or email me directly. I am within the description. I have my email address down there. Thank you, everybody. And if it takes a little while, I apologize for that. I check it about once a week, but I do eventually get to it. And thank you so much for joining me. Shalom, shalom, everybody.